Hi, this is Rachel Bella, and this is my AEP 867 Assignment 5 reflection. So, just to recap my lesson, the target was I can retell a story including key details. The success criteria was that they'll be able to retell a story using key details with 85% accuracy. And the activity was that students use pictures from the read aloud, and then they cut and glued them in sequential order. And then they used the pictures as a guide to then verbally retell the story to me. We did this same target. We sat on it for one whole week, and I was working with first grade students. The design that I used to create and plan this was the backwards design model. And so I identified the desired results, determined the evidence, and then planned the learning and instruction. Observations after going over and reflecting on everything, the final product allowed for accurate evidence of whether or not the student was able to tell the story, including key details. It was very easy for me as the teacher to see what kiddos had it and then what ones were still struggling with a few parts. Some of them I did notice, though, they used the pictures very explicitly to the point where it almost hindered their ability to retell the story to me, in which I then just took their page and said, hey, tell me about the story. What happened in the book? Which then allowed for them to so much more successfully retell the story. So I thought that was interesting and kind of something that I ran into that I was not expecting to be an issue. But taking the paper away and them not having it and feeling like they had to use it definitely helped. They had to retell the story verbally to me, otherwise it would just have been sequencing, and that was not the target. That's also one that we always have to remember when we hit this target every year, because sequencing is not the same as retelling. The connections and format. When teaching retelling, I often use the example to them. I tell them all the time, like, hey, if you were to tell your grown-up or a friend about this book, what would you tell them happened in it? We don't want to tell them every page, and kind of lead with that, because I think it allows for them to see how this can be used outside of the classroom, and it's not just something they use just when they're in school. It's something that they could use many times in the real world. The format was used for was for in-person and virtual students. I still have two that are virtual. A thought for next time, though, after seeing how my in-person kiddos, some of them really struggled with being so fixated on the pictures and telling me what was happening specifically in the picture that it hindered the retelling of the story, would be to see if I could just have them draw like B, M, and E, and then lines, and then have them draw their own pictures for the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then have them retell that to me. We've practiced in this format a few times, so I'd be curious to see if that would be better, or giving them the option of, hey, you can either use this one where the pictures are already there, or you can draw your own, because I have some that are really artistic and I think would do better creating their own, and it would help them to more think through the story and what happened rather than having the pre-made pictures already there. So a couple things for me to mull over and think about the next time we do this, and see if tweaking or making any of those adjustments might actually benefit some of them a little bit better. The feedback and reflections. Student feedback, I provided it to them the same day, and we were able to look at it and see what worked, what didn't work, and talk about how maybe if they were relying too much on the pictures, like, you don't have to tell me everything that happens in the picture, and just having those conversations with them, which I think really helped, so they could see exactly where they were at and how they were doing. Next time, I really would like to introduce the levels of understanding, where like 4, I can teach this to someone else. 3, I've got this. 2, I think I have it, but I still need some more practice. And 1, I don't have this yet. Because I think that allows them to think outside their boxes, to understand and really self-evaluate, as well as allowing me to see where they see themselves, so I could form groups then around all the 2s that are the 1s, and just being able to kind of create small intervention groups almost based off of their reflective data. And then here are my references.